To talk about concerning Mufumbwe from this budget. First of all, I'd like to talk about education. Just like my colleague has said, there's a secondary school which is under construction. In Mufumbwe, there is also one which is under construction, and it has taken years actually without receiving enough funding. However, this time around, I've seen that the government, through this budget, they've allocated about 2.3 billion to complete and rehabilitate the secondary schools. So I thought maybe we can talk about this, because this project is almost at 87% completion. And Madam Speaker, you may be aware that in Mufumbwe we don't have a boarding secondary school. And this is the only boarding secondary school which we feel, if it was completed, it is going to help the people of Mufumbwe, because most of the people, they are coming from the furthest points. And others actually have to travel about 600 kilometers to access actually this education. So now, I've seen that from this amount, about 317 schools are supposed to be worked on. However, out of this, 151, they are completed. And about 46 will be completed maybe by the end of the year. Then we are looking at 120. Now the question that maybe I want to bring to the attention of the minister is that, is Mufumbwe among those that are going to be completed? Because what we are remaining with is actually maybe about 15% of the works, and if anything, less than that. So our appeal, the people of Mufumbwe feel that this is the time that this secondary school should be completed, so that our people, especially the girl child, Madam Speaker, we have seen a lot of pregnancies, early pregnancies, because we don't have a boarding secondary school. They have to start renting houses in order actually to finish their education. This has not started very well with our girl child. The other thing that I want to talk about is the CDF, Madam Speaker. Indeed, we appreciate the increment of the CDF, which is maybe going to be 40 million. That is okay. But it's not sitting very well with us who have got very big constituencies. So here, that is the reason why some of us and the people of Mufumbwe, they are saying, Honorable Kamondo, go and talk about the limitation and encourage other members so that we support. This is actually something that all of us should support. Imagine, Madam Speaker, when we were buying this yellow equipment, we failed to buy all the equipment. We ended up buying only about 3. The rest we couldn't buy because we had a lot of issues to tackle. We had to spend most of the money in the education sector, water, and sanitation. So we are saying that in an event that we had another constituency or 2, that is going to help us, because the constituency is just too vast. We are very happy. Yes, we have done 1 or 2 things. Imagine, Madam Speaker, even with the money that we have, we've managed to construct about 23 schools. And that one actually the people of Mufumbwe are appreciating. But in an event that we had 2 constituencies, we were going to do better than what we have done. So we are saying that, yes, the Constituency Development Fund is increased, but we are still looking forward to make sure that the delimitation takes place. Members of Parliament, I encourage you to support this delimitation process or the constitutional amendment process so that it will help us. And one thing that I can talk to you, or to just bring to your attention, Madam Speaker, imagine the CDF vehicle. We received this CDF vehicle at the same time. Our CDF vehicle has, the mileage has gone to 160,000 kilometers within these few years. But when you compare with small districts, it's only 64,000. Yes. This one actually is telling you that the CDF vehicle in Mufumbwe is covering actually so many kilometers, and that is the reason why, even in terms of actually breaking down, it will break down very soon because it is covering long distances. Even me as a member of Parliament, my vehicle that I get from here, by the time I finish actually this term, the vehicle would have been a wreck because I'm covering a long distance. This is going to happen. I'm sure even other members, it is the same. And yes, which I buy, my sister, I'm very happy that you reminded me. Yes, we don't just get, we buy and we pay for it. And also in terms of Ministry of Mines, we are happy, Madam Speaker, that the Ministry of Mines, they've actually increased the money for artisanals. Yeah, that is good, and it is going to help our artisanal and small-scale miners. Now, what we want to urge the Ministry of Mines, while we appreciate the trainings which are taking place, even now, the artisanal miners are being trained. But now the problem that we have is that it is taking too long. What we should be doing, once we train about 100, they should be given the tenements and they should start mining. Because if you leave them without mining, others are mining illegally. So that one is not serving a purpose, and it is discouraging our people. The other thing that I want to talk about is infrastructure. We have got acro bridges in Mufumbwe, which are supposed to be installed. Just like I said, we have my brother here in Zambia West. Because of the nature of his constituents, they managed to do them. But us, it is actually very expensive to work on these acro bridges. So I'm urging that what has been allocated to the acro bridges and rehabilitation of roads, something should be given to the people of Mufumbwe so that we work on Msonwej Road and we work on Miluj Bridge and also the other small bridges. Because we have got about 8 acro bridges, and all of them, they are just here in Lusaka. We cannot work on the bridges because we don't have enough money. Madam Speaker, these are some of the challenges that we think if they were attended to, Mufumbwe will never be the same. And I think for me, to summarize, I think this is what I wanted to talk about in this budget, that the people of Mufumbwe needs the boarding secondary school. The people of Mufumbwe needs the acro bridges. The people of Mufumbwe needs the delimitation. And the people of Mufumbwe, most urgently, they need those artisanal miners to be given the tenements so that they start mining and they contribute to the national economy. Because also we want to talk about one thing which is discouraging. ZCCM-IH, they are the off-takers. They were supposed to go their area so that they actually establish their offices. Because the problem which is there now, if the people are given the mines and the tenements to start mining, where would they sell gold? If the ZCCM-IH are not ready, then let them actually choose another institution which will be ready to buy gold on behalf of government. Because they've delayed the process. We want to mine gold, we want to make money and have enough money. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me just add up a few words on this budget, estimates for 2026. I'll start with AD 52, Minister of Water and Sanitation, Madam Speaker. We've seen the state increase on allocation from 2024, 2025, 2026. For 2026, Madam Speaker, we are looking at 1.8 billion for this ministry in terms of water and sanitation. We've seen, Madam Speaker, that 735 million will go to sanitation, then 1.1 billion and 1094 billion will go towards water development. Madam Speaker, today, whether you are from right or left, you are grappling with issues to do with water in our areas. And there is no one here, maybe those coming from towns, Madam Speaker, will say that they are enjoying and they have enough water in their compounds or townships. Madam Speaker, for a constituency like Nyimba today, our district is dry. And if we talk about water, Madam Speaker, it's a nightmare. People, Madam Speaker, are surviving from those who are having boreholes on their residential areas, from filling stations, and this is the CBD of our district, Madam Speaker. And when you look at this amount, 1.6 billion for this year, how much was released towards this project, Madam Speaker? My question goes to the Minister of Finance, Madam Speaker. Are we releasing the money we are budgeting for? Because I don't think we would have been having a problem. Because the Minister of Water, he knows that today, Madam Speaker, putting up a 30 million project, according to our engineers from the ministry, would have managed to finish the water issues, the water problems we're having as a district, we've gone up to 1.8 million, Madam Speaker. 1 billion plus, it's for water, and 750. Madam Speaker, I want to see the minister coming to this parliament to tell us where he's going to spend this money, especially on sanitation. Because if you check, Madam Speaker, a good number of townships, even here in Lusaka or Gochalara, Madam Speaker, the water, underground water, is contaminated. Where are we taking, are we coming up with new sewer systems, sewer ponds? What are we doing about this, Madam Speaker? If you go to the old schools which were built maybe in 70s, 60s, you find that their sewer ponds are still there. So I don't know what is happening to our water engineers, Madam Speaker. So my prayer to the Minister of Finance, can we release this money in time, Madam Speaker? In addition to that, I'll be failing in my duties, Madam Speaker, if I fail to acknowledge the wonders which CDF is doing in our constituencies. These are the things, Madam Speaker, each and every member of Parliament today is happy. At least you can go back to the constituents and say, in my tenure, this is what happened. In my tenure, this was built. In my tenure, certain clinics, these classrooms were built. Now, Madam Speaker, the rural development infrastructure, the rural infrastructure development, Madam Speaker, is suffering in terms of those which are being funded direct from the Ministry of Local Government. If you check, Madam Speaker, I've been there for 2 years. If the project is moving, the contractor move on site today, tomorrow it goes out. By the time it goes back, the progress which was there maybe 6 months ago, it's washed out by the rains. Today, Madam Speaker, Nyimba is a practical example where I've got a wonderful project which the government gave the people of Nyimba. But if you look at what is happening now, we've got rains for the last one which has been raining, Madam Speaker. So meaning because of the late funding, late release of money, the project, that contractor, I cannot foresee, I foresee that contractor making a huge loss because government is not funding these contractors on time. Madam Speaker, let me look at AD 46, the Minister of Health. The Minister of Health, Madam Speaker, for the last, the money for last year, for this year we are sitting at 1.5 billion. Madam Speaker, the money has decreased to 1.3 billion for next year. Now, the people of Nyimba, Madam Speaker, are asking that now that the money has reduced to 1.3 billion, when it was at 1.5 billion, Madam Speaker, the hospital, the district hospital in Nyimba, Madam Speaker, has stored for the last 12 years or so, Madam Speaker. We are not seeing any progress on this hospital, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Nyimba sits at close to 12,000 square kilometers. And if you ask, I follow with my brother from Mfumbwe. If you check our ambulances or CDF vehicles, Madam Speaker, they have gone beyond 100,000 kilometers. Because these are huge, vast constituencies, Madam Speaker. Then you carry a person 200 kilometers to the bomb at the CBD, Madam Speaker, just to take that person to unfinished building. Today, if you go to Nyimba, Madam Speaker, I challenge anyone from the executive. The theater at Nyimba District Hospital, Madam Speaker, people are being operated in an finished building, Madam Speaker. The building is not finished. Thanks to CDF that we had to allocate small money just to put up windows on the building. And the Minister of Infrastructure, Madam Speaker, I can lay him on the table there when he as my witness, because he promised the people of Nyimba that by June 2024, Madam Speaker, the hospital will be completed. And it's there, Madam Speaker, on our records here. If you check, the record is there. And where has the money gone, Madam Speaker? These are the things we are asking. People of Nyimba, they usually ask, is it that we are in between Lusaka and Shpata? That is the reason why governments, they don't remember us. So this is the question the people ask. Because, Madam Speaker, there is no way, when you look at Ria, Madam Speaker, Minister of Energy, Madam Speaker, the former Minister of Energy, Madam Speaker, I can lay him there on the ground. He promised the people of Nyimba, Madam Speaker, is there, in fact, Madam Speaker, smiling nicely, and he knows that he promised the people of Nyimba that the power, Madam Speaker, to Chamilara, St. Joseph. Madam Speaker, this is a hospital which is catering for everyone. The Catholic Church, in their wisdom, Madam Speaker, they have invested in equipment over $415 million. And all we need to do is to connect. Not that the money was not there, Madam Speaker. The money was there and the project was supposed to be completed in 2024. The question is, where did the money go? If you check, Madam Speaker, at the rear budget, rural electrification budget. Even today, this country, Madam Speaker, we are having 468 million kwacha seated at the Ministry of Finance, deducting each constituency, Madam Speaker, 1 million per year from CDF. If you multiply by 3 and 156, Madam Speaker, find that it's 468 million. The question is, where is this money? All we needed there, Madam Speaker, was about 30 million, if not 37 million kwacha, to complete that thing. That thing, Madam Speaker, it's not for people of Nyimba. The biggest beneficiary on that project are people coming from Lusaka, Lufunsa constituents, as well as Fela constituents. They take even the huge amount of medicine from that hospital. So what I'm saying, Madam Speaker,
Time is up.
thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And for the time is gone, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
The honorable member for Kaumbwe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Kaumba an opportunity to debate on the budget for 2026. On the onset, the budget for 2026, the government is proposing to spend 253 billion kwacha, and 82% of this is going to be funded by domestic resources. This is a major achievement to our economic independence. For this budget to be funded at 82% by domestic resources, there must be strategic finance mobilization, because based on our previous experience for the budget for 2025 budget, 2024 budgets, and so on, the budgets have never been fully funded at the end of each fiscal year. We go to give examples. Page 30, the Committee on Transport, Works and Supply. Government in 2025 planned to spend 100 million kwacha to Zambia Railways. That 100 million kwacha to date, which is the fourth quarter of the year, has never been disbursed. We go to CDF. CDF, we appreciate the increment. To this year, 2024, it is 2026, it's going to be 40 million. The CDF for 2025, which was 36.1 million, is not fully funded up to date. For my constituency, we are standing at less than 10 million kwacha from the 36.1 million kwacha, and this is the end of the year. Delayed disbursements, of course, impedes project implementation and effective use of these resources. It leads to even increased costing of these of projects. The CDFC would recommend some projects for a particular fiscal year, and the procurement authorities would love to procure on time, but lack of funds, the projects would be procured at a later stage, of which there will be that cost escalation. We therefore appeal to the Minister of Finance to be prudent and finance the budget as the guidelines specify. For Zambia Railways, which is on page 30, government, through the bilateral cooperations with China, has signed a contract, an MOU, to revitalize Tazara Railway. The project currently is under design and construction will start soon. The project Tazara is linking Dar es Salaam, the port of Dar es Salaam, to Kapirimposh. And Zambia, we have a railway line from Chingola to Livingstone. The railway line from Chingola to Livingston is in a deplorable state. They have speed restrictions, and freight and passengers are no longer, not most of them use the rail. But for this very good project, the Tazara, which right now is under design and the construction will start soon, the Zambia Railways is a feeder to Tazara to export, for import and exports through the port of Dar es Salaam as well as port of Beira. Now, when you don't fund the $100 million kwacha, which you had budgeted, which was earmarked for rehabilitation of the trackworks, how will the Tazara now perform when the feeder line, which is the Zambia Railway, is in a deplorable state? Therefore, we urge that with the coming of the grant by European Union of $50 million, I just read this, I just saw this on TV, that we have received a grant of $50 million for 50 million euros for the rehabilitation of the Zambia Railways from Livingston to Ndola. I wish Zambia Railways should now engage or give this 100 million kwacha so that the Tazara railway line is going to be functional as per the specifications. Coming to the CDF 2026, the people of Kaumbwe are looking forward to develop infrastructure that is going to be climate resilient. In the history of our country, Kaumbwe has seen the first ever dam. Kaumbwe has seen the first ever bridge to be built at Utopwe. Kaumbwe has seen the first ever school to be built at Nyankwalala. Kaumbwe has seen the first ever mother's shelter because of the CDF. And we have been given opportunity to procure earth-moving equipment. We have been given opportunity to procure earth-moving equipment. Petauke Central and Kaumbwe, we shared resources. And we have a set of earth-moving equipment. This earth-moving equipment, it is our desire, and we know for sure that all roads in Petauke district will be a thing of the past in terms of their conditions, of the road condition. And we have even informed all wards, wherever you need a dam, we will construct it. Because we have the earth-moving equipment, all dams, even if it is given a contract to a CDF contractor, they use the same type of equipment to similar specifications. Why not do our own dams? Our appeal is that the funding to this CDF, the 40 million, we would love to see a change that our planned projects by the end of the fiscal year 2026 must be implemented. With these few words, I support the motion. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kabwe Central.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to support the motion of supply. The onset, I want to say people of Kabwe support the budget estimates, and I want to congratulate the government indeed for the 82% of the budget that is going to be, of course, supported internally. And this shows that our government indeed is economic growth. There's also financial discipline. There's accountability, which is very, very important for a country. It means that Zambia has come of age in terms of financial stability. I also want to thank the government. Indeed, we have seen that the successful budget that we have had, even this one, it is indeed gender responsive. I say so because the finances that we receive under CDF, it is really helping especially women and the girl child. because our president has put it categorically that he wants to make sure that water is provided for our community members. And if there's no water, normally who suffers is a woman, is a girl child. And the president said we want to make sure that we see clinics that has maternity annex, and this is good for women. Indeed, it means that this budget is gender responsive. Notwithstanding even the free education, because in a home, if without free education, when resources are found, before they used to favor a boy child, but this time because free education meaning even girl child is free to attend education. And Madam Speaker, let me quick to say that, you know, as women, we are not saying that all we need is social protection, but what we want is to be equal to men. We are a very important resource for economic development. So it's very, very important that women are educated, women are empowered. When they are empowered, they will be equal to the task for economic development in the country. And I want to also to say that, Madam Speaker, we want to make sure and to ask the government, if possible, to make sure that this CDF that is dispersed should have its own directorate in the council. I say so, this is amount of money that is sent, it needs to make sure that it is safeguarded. This time what we experience that people who are in the offices in the local authorities, it's like they are doing somebody a favor for them to monitor the project, to implement the project, to monitor the project, which is not good. We want it, the Zambia won't be happy, people won't be happy to see that resources, the money, after constructing a very good, for example, you put up a clinic, a school, 3 months later you find that the floor is cracking, there are a lot of defects which is not very good. We want to make sure there is a directorate that is seriously monitoring the CDF projects, because this is a very, very good policy that the government gave us as Zambian people. So we want to make sure that it is really monitored, because we do not want wastage. So this, I think we really need to support that going forward. Yes, we would say it's expensive, but again, where you are putting your resources, you have to make sure that it is monitored very, very seriously, because there will be more wastage if there is no monitoring. So we need to make sure that we have its one separate directorate that will have to implement the CDF projects. So, Madam Speaker, also I want to say that thank you so much for the government, for the budget, because as Kabwe Central, indeed, as I say, that we have had a lot of projects that we have done, 6 also maternity annexes, and a hospital that is coming, the district hospital. People of Kabwe say thank you so much. And many more projects that are underwater. We say we are looking forward to make sure that we have replaced our old pipes so that we have got good water provision in our community. Madam Speaker, I'm looking at the time, and I just want to say that I support and all what other colleagues, the backbenchers, have supported, that I join hands to support and say thank you so much for supporting this budget. People of Kabwe, they are also in support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nakonde.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for this opportunity that the people of Nakonde as well, Madam Speaker, they can add their voice on this 2026 budget address. Madam Speaker, to start with, I want to talk about the debt restructuring that this government has been celebrating. Madam Speaker, I wanted to define first what is debt restructuring. After that, Madam Speaker, and also I talk about how many types of debt restructuring are we talking about. Madam Speaker, restructuring is just the process of negotiating with the creditors to modify the terms of the debt. I know other people, they cannot agree with me, but Madam Speaker, the types of the debt restructuring that are there is also complete cancellation. When the debt has been completed, cancelled, that is a good move. Now, Madam Speaker, the type of the debt restructuring that this government has been celebrating is about deferment, which means, Madam Speaker, they have shifted the blame to other people, other generation. The people who are going to pay, Madam Speaker, are not these people. It's the other people who are coming. Now, Madam Speaker, this government is going to borrow. Again, they are borrowing, Madam Speaker, about 106 billion domestic. Madam Speaker, PF borrowed 11 billion in 10 years. And Madam Speaker, there are a lot of things that they did with that money. Madam Speaker, I will mention some of the things that PF did using the debt that they borrowed. In health sector, Madam Speaker, PF, Madam Speaker, built about 6 specialist hospitals. 6. Madam Speaker, 46 district hospitals. Madam Speaker, 50 main hospitals. 490 health posts. Madam Speaker, 15 health centers where these are level 1 hospitals. And now, the problem which I have, Madam Speaker, with this government is the things that money they have borrowed, where they take to. Madam Speaker, when we look at the borrowing plan on page 1, the government...
Honorable Member for Nakonde, the budget will be for next year. They haven't yet borrowed the money and started using it. It's for next year. You may continue.
Madam Speaker, what I'm saying is, on page 1, they are saying government has no plans to borrow. And again, when you look at what the budget is saying, again they're saying there is an external financing of 12.8 billion. They are contradicting themselves. I want the minister to clarify on this matter. Madam Speaker, on the same issue, this government is an enemy of the poor. Why have I said this? This government, Madam Speaker, has pressed levies on the mobile money transactors. Just imagine, Madam Speaker, somebody is doing a mobile money transaction. This government, you need to pay levy. And most of the people, Madam Speaker, who does these mobile transactions, they are poor. They are very poor, Madam Speaker. Why should this government levy the poor people instead of giving them incentives? Somebody who has just, Madam Speaker, thought of a business to do, this government, they're placing the levies on them. Madam Speaker, instead, those people, what are you saying? Madam Speaker, most of these who does these mobile transactions are unemployed. The youths, they are unemployed. This government promised them that they are going to employ the youths. Where are they now, Madam Speaker? When you look at the youths now, they have started throwing stones. These are the same youths, Madam Speaker, who were promised...
Order. There is nowhere in the budget or this report talking about throwing stones. Please be focused. We want to allow the last honorable member to debate.
Madam
Just
Speaker,
be focused on the report and the budget.
Madam Speaker, I have this report. Madam Speaker, with those few words, I don't want to disturb other people. Thank you.
Thank you. The honorable member for Shangombo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as the senior most backbencher on your right, I want to add my voice on the motion on the floor, which is the 2026 budget estimates. Madam Speaker, this budget is giving hope to the country and the people of Shangombo at large because of what has been presented by the Minister of Finance and National Planning. Madam Speaker, CDF, which is increasing from 36 to 40 million, is going to add value to the face of Shangombo. A lot of problems that we are facing now are going to be tackled in the CDF, which is allocated for next year. Madam Speaker, we have benefited a lot so far from the previous CDF and the current, the 2025 CDF, which I want to thank the Minister of Finance for the money that was released about 2 to 3 weeks ago. A lot of projects are ongoing. We have issues to do with infrastructure for our teachers, and we have already started building housing, better housing actually, in rural areas so that we can entice our teachers to stay in Shangombo. I want to assure everyone who will be employed by government, be it police, teachers, health, that we are putting up, and we have already started putting up better housing infrastructure for our civil servants. This is an incentive for them to stay once they're deployed in Shangombo. You won't be hearing of people now crying to come out of Shangombo. People are now fighting to go and settle because, Madam Speaker, I can tell you that what we have started at a place called Mambolomoka and other health facilities, we are putting up 5, which we are supposed to hand over between December and January. 7 clinics done in these 4 years of the UPND, and 5 are ongoing as we are speaking. So meaning we have 12 by next year. Madam Speaker, when I look back from 2011 to 2021, 10 years of PF, they only built 2 classrooms and 2 staff houses in 10 years. 10 years. But what we have achieved so far, Madam Speaker, is more. And with the 40 million that is coming, we have already procured earth-moving equipment. We are opening Shangombo now, doing feeder roads. We are putting up safe drinking water to our people and the domestic animals. All this has become possible because of the good leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, who has come up with this.
Order, honorable member. As the time is 18:55 hours, I interrupt the proceedings and debate stands adjourned. Day for resumption of debate.
Tomorrow, Madam Speaker.
Debate to resume tomorrow. The House is now adjourned.
Television business of the day has been concluded, and we look at what has been discussed on the floor of the House before we end our live broadcast for today.
When business commenced, Madam Speaker did make some announcements. In the first announcement, Madam Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Emmanuel Adventist Secondary School in Chisamba District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly.
And in another announcement, the Honorable Madam Speaker did remind the House that debate on the motion which was moved by the Minister, or the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning on Tuesday, 4th November 2025, will be concluded on Wednesday, 19th November 2025. And in this regard, honorable members of the backbench will conclude their debate today, Thursday, 13th November 2025, while members of the front bench will be given an opportunity to respond to the various issues that have been raised by the backbench for 3 days, from Tuesday to Friday 14th to Wednesday 19th November 2025. She encouraged the honorable members from the backbench who did not debate to do so today.
And in the other announcements, Madam Speaker informed the House that the National Assembly of Zambia Gender Subcommittee, comprising selected members of staff, operates a benevolent fund account to which some members of Parliament and staff contribute on a quarterly basis through the payroll. From these contributions, the National Assembly has supported a number of vulnerable causes, both financially and through donations of various items such as food, clothing and school requirements, among other important items.
And Madam Speaker invited the honorable members to support the work of the Gender Subcommittee through voluntary monthly contributions to the benevolent account to be deducted through the payroll. And she also reminded the honorable members who are currently contributing and also encouraged them to increase their contributions to make them monthly instead of quarterly. She added that the sign-up forms are available and will be distributed to the honorable members. So that was the announcements by the Honorable Madam Speaker. And then after that, there was a ministerial statement by the Minister of Technology and Science.
Yes, indeed, and the Minister gave an update on the construction of communication towers across the country. This was in response to a matter raised on Friday, 7th November 2025, by the Honorable Member of Parliament for Lumezi, Mr. Lufeo Ngoma, who, on a matter of urgent public importance, expressed concern regarding the status of communication towers in his constituency.
And the Honorable Minister presented the statement in 3 parts, and these were: 1, the specific case of network challenge in Lumezi parliamentary constituency; the second part was possibility of network roaming; and the third part was the status of construction and communication towers countrywide. So in the case of the case of network challenges in Lumezi parliamentary constituency, the minister actually expressed his sincere compassion to the affected communities in Shivande and Chifumwanya, Kazembe and Chitungu, and regretted the loss of network services in these areas. The minister did state that the non-availability of network service in certain parts of Lumezi parliamentary constituency and indeed other areas of the constituency can be attributed to a number of interrelated factors, which included the drought of 2023, and that Zambia had experienced this drought, and that the hydropower energy which supported this sector actually had been affected, and this resulted in a severely low energy output. And he did say that this has impacted and continues to impact directly the availability of energy to power communication towers. And as a consequence, communication towers are either off or not receiving signal feeds from other towers within the network. He did say that this has caused network isolation and loss of active connectivity, and that this is precisely the case in some parts of Lumezi where the towers are operationally disconnected due to power shortages.
He went on to state that to address these challenges comprehensively, government working hand in hand with the private sector will require an investment of approximately 280 United States dollars to implement nationwide backup and alternative energy solutions. And he did state that the expansion drive is informed by the 2022 communication infrastructure gap analysis, which identified the need for 998 additional communication towers to ensure equitable coverage across Zambia's dispersed population.
And on the other challenges, the minister did talk of the possibility of network roaming, and he also did inform the House that a pilot proof of concept on network national roaming is being undertaken, and he said that this initiative seeks to enable subscribers from different mobile operators to access network service seamlessly, and has also added that even in areas where their primary provider has no active coverage. And on the status of construction of communication towers, the minister did inform the House that the government, through the Ministry of Technology and Science, in collaboration with ZICTA and other implementing agencies, continue to expand the national communication infrastructure. And he did also add that government will continue to collaborate with the private sector players, cooperating partners, as well as local communities to accelerate the deployment of communication infrastructure across the country. So that was the ministerial statement that was rendered by the Minister of Technology and Science. And after that, the House went on to consider questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 80.
We take a look at some of the questions that were considered. We had question number 70, which came from Ms. Chrysosta Halwindi, who is Kawe Central Member of Parliament. Her question was directed to the Minister of Mines and Minerals Development. She wanted to know, in A, whether government has any plans to reopen the Kawe zinc mine in Kawe district, which was closed in 1994, and in B, if so, when the mine will be reopened, in C, if there are no such plans, why. And the minister did actually respond that at the moment government doesn't have any plans to reopen the mine. This is due to the following factors: environmental and public health concerns, infrastructure and technology, which requires significant investment. And also he did mention that government policy, which is on creating an enabling environment for private investment and public-private partnerships. So he did state that government will concentrate on making these places better for them to actually think of reopening the mine.
Yes, there was a question that came from Mr. Simon Banda, Member of Parliament for Petauke Central, and in his question he wanted to find out from the Minister of Education whether government has any plans to promote teachers who have upgraded their professional qualifications, and in part B of the question, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and part C, if there are no such plans, why. And in response to this question, the Minister of Education did inform the House that government has plans to promote teachers who have upgraded their professional qualifications. And in part B of the question, when the plans will be implemented, the minister did inform the House that the government has been progressively upgrading the salary scales of teachers and promoting those who meet the established criteria. He further said that this is an ongoing process guided by the terms and conditions of service for the public service number 23A1, which provides that promotion in the public service shall be effected by the Service Commission or the responsible office, as the case may be, whenever vacancies occur, and taking into account qualifications, competences, experiences, good conduct, as well as performance. He did, however, say that the process is gradual, as it depends on the availability of vacant and funded positions within the establishment of the institution. And that was the minister's response to this question. Then there was a question that was posed by Kalabo Central Member of Parliament, Mr. Chinga Miyutu, and he wanted to find out from the Minister of Health what the major causes of the infant mortality in Zambia are, and part B of the question, he wanted to know in part B what measures are being taken to reduce mortality rate. And in response to this question, the minister did inform the House that the major causes of infant mortality in Zambia are one, neonatal conditions, which include preterm birth complications, delayed breathing at birth, as well as neonatal infections. And also he did say this is also caused by infectious diseases such as malaria, pneumonia, and diarrhea. And others, he said, malaria and malnutrition. And in part B of the question, what measures government has put in place to reduce infant mortality, the Minister of Health did inform the House that government has put in place a number of interventions, which include public health campaigns which focus on HIV/AIDS prevention and also malaria control. And others are maternal and newborn health care. The government has also enhanced the antenatal and postnatal care, as well as training of specialized nurse practitioners. And government has also improved water and sanitation, as well as has also promoted the biannual child health week campaigns. So this has been the response of the Minister of Health regarding the reduction of mortality rate in Zambia.
Yes, indeed. So those are just some of the questions for oral answer, understanding Order 80 that the House considered. And on today's order paper, we actually had one question for written answer, which is understanding Order 81, W1 from Mr. Chinga Miyutu to the Minister of Finance and National Planning. The question was responded to the Honorable Member in written form, and the House did move on to consider a motion that was moved by Mr. Hudson Mabeta, who is Kankoyo Member of Parliament, urging that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Youth, Sport and Child Matters on the accession of the optional protocol to the Convention of the Rights of the Child on the involvement of children in armed conflict for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 11th November 2025. This motion was seconded by Mr. George Chisanga, who is Lukasha Member of Parliament. And Pauline, we had some members of Parliament contribute to this motion.
Yes, Taza, we did hear the Kanyama Member of Parliament, Mr. Monti Chinkuli, debate this motion. We also had the Chilubi Member of Parliament add his voice to the motion that was under consideration. So the motion was adopted by the House. And after that, the House went on to consider orders of the day, and there was this Small Claims Court Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 16 of 2025, which was considered at a committee stage. It's gone through this stage with amendments, and report stage will be taken tomorrow, Friday, 14th November 2025.
And thereafter, we did see the resumption of debate on the motion of supply, a motion of 4th November 2025. This motion was moved by the Minister of Finance and National Planning, that the House now resolves into Committee of Supply on the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January 2026 to 31st December 2026, presented to the National Assembly in September 2025.
Yes, Taza, so that was business of the day. So we have come to the end of today's live broadcast. Remember that tomorrow is Friday, and business of the House starts at 09 hours. So we expect you to join us as we bring to you live proceedings of Parliament. So from all of us at Parliament Studios, we wish you a lovely evening.